behind the baller. My life is more than money and jewelry. My story's so crazy, dog. I said make a movie behind the baller. I went from playing sports to exotic whips. Ain't gotta tell me, dog, I know I'm the shit behind the baller. My life is more than money and jewelry. My story's so crazy, dog. I said make a movie behind the baller. I went from music exec to this podcast. Now I finally feel at home at last behind the baller.
Yo, 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 yo. You are listening to the greatest podcast in the entire universe. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached a milestone on BTB. This is episode 150 of the award-winning, chart-topping Behind the Baller podcast, produced by the world-famous, the greatest, the Dust Brothers. Yo, I am your host. Forgot to say, I am your host. Ben Baller, not Ben Humble. Also known as what? The Korean John Cusack. Yo, guys, we got a special episode today. Things that I'm going to talk about on this show is Trump gets impeached again. One of my best friends gets COVID. The Tiger Woods documentary. I got an NBA Jam 1-Up arcade machine. Shout out to Taylor Brooks. RV Life, the city of Downey. James Harden gets traded to the Nets. Big announcement this weekend from Topps. And of course, my NFL picks. Don't forget that mybookie.ag is the shit. Miles, Jordan, let's fucking go. So, Dick Stain got impeached, not once now, but twice. And there's all little things here. As the first president to do this and that. As the first president to get impeached twice, whatever. Look, really, people thought I'd go super ham and all that shit today. Shit don't matter. You know what I mean? It sucks for him. He's a dumb fuck and he's not on Twitter and he's banned from everywhere and there's not much he can fucking do. But he hasn't been removed from office. So it's just fucking stupid. I hate that word impeach. It's just fucking dumb. But, now the Senate has to convict him. A lot of people really don't think he's going to jail. Look, a lot of people didn't think he was going to get banned from Twitter and get banned from everything. I thought he was. A lot of people didn't think he really did anything wrong. And I'm wondering what the fuck is wrong with a lot of those people, right? So I really do think once he gets out of office, I think he's going to do some time. I think he's going to get arrested. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, but it ain't over yet. News sources, law enforcement, all types of people are saying that next week for the inauguration, it is going to be crazy at every single state capital in all 50 states, especially in DC. So, look, I don't know if you've been watching the news and you see all these fucking military motherfuckers that are inside the White House, the Capitol, everywhere. They're sleeping there. There's motherfuckers there with M16s and fucking, they're ready. So I hope every single fucking racist, Proud Boy, KKK, Trump supporter goes to DC and gets fucking smoked. I hope all the motherfuckers get gassed up. Okay? You be a stupid fucking idiot to go anywhere when now you gave them fucking forewarning? Come on, man. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting day next Wednesday, the 20th. I don't know what's going to happen. Does Biden walk down with security? Just is a fucking shit show. All I know is, look, Trump, you lost and then you went insane. Per inside reports, fuck what Geraldo Rivera said. I know from inside reports, I think you guys have a good idea. I'm not going to say. I'm just saying. They said once he lost, he went crazy, right? But when he lost 3 times, he wasn't even crazy. But when he got banned from Twitter, inside sources have told me that he went literally insane. He fucking exploded and went crazy. Okay? And you know what? Boo fucking who? Nobody gives a shit. Bro, you're done. That's it. And for fucking James Comey, the fucking former FBI fucking head, talking about that Biden should pardon him or what, and this country should heal. What the fuck are you talking about? We can heal better with that cocksucker behind bars. That should show people that we're doing better and for the greater good of mankind. All right. Anyways, fuck Trump. All that shit is, I can't wait to stop talking about all that shit. That is done. Anyways, one of my best friends got COVID, and apparently he got it a few days ago. He didn't know it was COVID, had a sore throat, thought it was strep throat. He had a little bit of fever, thought it was a cold. Got tested, found out it was. Now, there's reasons why I'm a little worried for him because, I think he'll be all right, but there's other circumstances I'm kind of curious about. But that I'm a little concerned about. One thing that bugs me is still 10, 11 months later, the lack of information that people still don't have. And look, yeah, you could talk about the 88, 98, 99% survival rate. But what you need to talk about is the fact that if you have it, don't go anywhere. If you have no symptoms, don't go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? You can still pass the shit on. You could be asymptomatic and still pass it on and have somebody who's old get it and they might not make it. So I just don't get and I don't understand that how you don't understand. You don't have to watch the fucking news. Everywhere you go, I don't care if you're in fucking Florida, you do know that the shit exists and people are wearing masks that you've never seen wear masks. And it's not a joke. It's just dumb. So, that's my boy. But, there's some bigger circumstances that I'm concerned about. Like I said, that I'm worried about. So I've given him some guidance about things. But, I'm just worried about it. On to better news, I went to finally pick up my RV. It had to do the 100-point inspection and go through the whole thing and everything. It's brand new. No one's ever owned it. Super excited. I drove down to Downey, California. And that's where Giant RV is. By the way, Downey, California brings back some old vibes. And Downey's a tripped out town, right? There's a high Hispanic population there, but there's no hood, meaning there's no gang. Like there's no gang that's based out of Downey, right? They're in Norwalk, they're in Bellflower, they're in City Industry. Not City Industry, I'm sorry. But like Norwalk and Bellflower and stuff and everything. But Downey's good. And the crazy part is if you fuck around and just start driving around Downey in random areas, you'll fuck around and run into like a $4 or $5 million house, $3 million house. And these homes are beautiful, huge, almost like, an acre lot, 7 to 12,000 square foot homes, actual homes. They look crazy. But what the fuck is going on here? It is a bunch of cartel money, right? From the cartel, no shit. The owner of King Taco, for those of you from LA, obviously know. For those who aren't Mexican, know how big fucking King Taco is. But yeah, man, Downey's dope. They got the first ever McDonald's. And the first ever McDonald's is still there in Downey, right on Florence. And it's like super OG. If you saw that movie, The Founder, they filmed it there, obviously. And they still serve the fried apple pie there. Shit's pretty lit, And they got, obviously, I forgot what the fuck his place is called. It's not Floridita. They got a bomb-ass Cuban spot because you know me, man. Fuck, I love Iron Beer, Inca Cola, all that shit. Just all that, they got not just, I know they got a Porto's in Downey, but there's a spot right on fucking Florence. Forgot what the fuck it's called, man, but it's lit. So anyways, I'm in Downey picking up the RV. Shout out to my boy Katz at Giant RV. And I just realized how much shit you got to pay attention to when you own an RV. Meaning, it's a house on wheels. But you gotta worry about the filtration, like the plumbing system, the fucking generator to make sure that shit is good. Make sure you got fucking DEF because it's a turbo diesel. What the fuck is DEF? I know a shitload about cars. Never heard DEF, right? Gotta make sure you have brake fluid because you might be in a fucking area, whatever. You might gotta have coolant. And even though you need those things on other cars, on this especially, it is like super crucial you have all these things, right? You got to make sure you know how to change your black water. You got to have a surge protector for your fucking adapter if you plug in. But if you're going to go off the grid, you got to worry about other things. So, for the last 48 hours, I've been packing the fridge, getting all, the clothes ready for the kids and all that stuff, and getting everything we're going to cook. Because obviously we're probably not, I'm highly guarantee we're not going to be eating outside food because nowhere near. And now the fucked up part about it is, and by the way, shout out to Tom Green for giving me that app, Dirt, DYRT. But I just realized for the last 2-3 days, I've been searching for places to camp. And all the state beaches, all the state parks are mandatory shutdown because of COVID. especially in California. So everything is shut down. There's no even like where people could go. I guess there are some reviews from like November, August, but there's nothing right now. They are shut down right now because the cases are so fucked up. So I got no choice. I just kind of we got to go somewhere off the grid. So I was hoping to go up the coast, but I think we got to go the other way now towards Palm Springs, Arizona, Joshua Tree, that area. So we are excited to go. My kids are going crazy. We spent the night in the fucking RV. They're so excited, having the slide out, just everything that goes with having an RV. It's definitely a different type of thing when you're driving something that heavy. You know, I've never ever driven actually anything that heavy on a regular basis. You know, I've driven a box truck and all that stuff for moving random things. But, you know, it's serious, especially you're carrying people. But, yo, man, I'm just so fucking excited. I can't stop thinking about it. You know what else I can't stop thinking about? This interview with Pomp. Now, I've been talking about this for so many episodes because the explosion with Bitcoin is just so crazy, but I can't really break it down the same way he could. I'm not articulate enough to talk about it. I just know I've been around it and I know kind of enough, but I couldn't just really elaborate on how cool Bitcoin is and why it's so fucking cool. So without fucking talking shit or whatever else, we got a great interview. Yo, Miles, let's get right into that interview. But before we do, we got a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let the stress of 2020 follow you into 2021. Leave tension and muscle aches behind. Whether you're an elite athlete or just someone trying to make it through the day tension-free, use Theragun, my go-to percussive therapy device always. I'm making 2021 all about many things, including listening to what my body needs. This is why I'm keeping my Theragun close to me all year. The Gen 4 Theragun doesn't just feel good, it gets to the source of the pain by releasing tension. Using Theragun's signature percussive therapy, which goes 60% deeper than vibration alone. Whether you want to treat your muscle tension from working out, an injury, or just everyday life, there's no substitute for the Theragun Gen 4. No joke, I take Theragun with me damn near everywhere I go. It is coming with me this weekend on my RV trip. Theragun is trusted by 250 professional sports teams like Real Madrid and elite athletes like Paul George, DeAndre Hopkins, Maria Sharapova, hundreds of thousands of customers, and me, the Korean John Cusack. Try Theragun for 30 days, starting only at $199. Go to Theragun.com/baller right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun.com/baller. Theragun.com/baller. Yo, BTB Army, man, we got a very special guest. I've been talking about him for the last 4 or 5 episodes. I feel like I just barely reached out to him, and I just felt like in my mind he was going to do it regardless because this is my dog. But yo, we got Pomp on Behind the Baller podcast. I don't know how to pronounce your fucking last name, but what is it, bro?
I don't know how to do it either. We'll just stick with Pomp.
Anyways, Pomp is, so look, explain to my audience real quick, not necessarily who you are, but what you do, because I've told them that you're a Bitcoin guru and that you're a business podcaster and entrepreneur, and that's not wrong, but I'd rather you kind of elaborate, and tell you who you are.
Yeah, look, I build companies and I invest in them. That's pretty much it. I spend about 50% of my time doing venture capital investing and a lot of investing in Bitcoin and Bitcoin related companies, and then I spend the other 50% of my time building out a pretty large kind of digital media business. And so those two things take up all of it, and it allows me to screw around on the internet and make money.
How about I didn't know any of that shit? I didn't know you were the funny thing is I'm older, but the first time I ever heard the word venture capitalist, VC, was right when during the dot-com, 19 years ago. And, 21 years ago. And I was going to have some people invest in this website I had, boom. And I was like, what the fuck is the angel money? What the fuck is VC? What the fuck is this, and this? And then I realized later, but obviously it's a common used word. And even though my podcast is a business podcast, we I have definitely a very unorthodox way of talking about business on my show. But, yo, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Before we get into any of this shit, how are you doing in New York right now with quarantine? Everything cool?
To be honest, I left. I am in Miami for a couple of months, and then I'll reevaluate. But
you cocksucker, motherfucker! You son of a bitch.
Here's the deal. I stayed, all the way through from March until January of 2021, and it just got depressing, man. It really did. About 60 to 70% of the businesses on our street are shut down. And the politicians, they've lost their minds. And so I said, look, I'm going to go find some warmer weather, kind of write it out there, and then I'll reevaluate. You can't kill New York, though. Don't get that twisted.
Never.
You can't kill it.
Never.
It's just how long will it take to come back.
The funny thing is, actually, tell you the truth, I don't mind Cuomo. I got fucking Newsom. I'll trade you any day in the world. Newsom is the dumbest fucking person in the world. And then I got Eric Garcetti, who's the other. I want to fuck both them dudes up. And the crazy thing is, well, go ahead, what?
They competing. That's what they're doing. They're competing for who's dumber.
I'll tell you this. Well, I like the way that Cuomo talks. I'm sorry. He's a good talker. But the crazy part about Gavin Newsom is me being a Republican, whatever, no big deal. People are really think that I'm just because I don't like Trump. That's just the only thing. And that doesn't mean Arnold Schwarzenegger is a huge Republican. He doesn't like Trump. It doesn't matter. But my friend dates his son. My friend Kimberly Guilfoyle, right? And she dates Donald Trump Jr. And she was married to Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
So, I messaged, I'm like, yo, bro, can you tell Gavin to fucking kill him? She's like, what do you think? I'm like, come on, man. And her brother's my boy. That's how we're friends. And, her brother's like, yo, dude, I text that motherfucker daily. Fuck you, the whole nine, everything. So, by the way, he just moved to Florida. How crazy is that? My boy, Tony Guilfoyle, he moved to Florida for good. And my other cousin just moved to Texas. And, I can't really leave, bro. My corporations is based in Florida. I'm a Florida corp, but I just can't leave, dog. It's I wish.
Yeah, look, it's one of these things where, again, I don't think you're going to kill New York. I don't think you're going to kill San Francisco or kill LA. But I do think that they've, materially hampered those cities for the short term. And the big question is how long will it take to come back? And, if I had to guess, they're not going to come back in 3 to 6 months, but they'll be back in, 1 to 2 years. And so it's just, what do you do in the meantime? Either you ride it out or you go elsewhere and then come back.
And it sucks, right? Someone like me or you, I'm assuming, from just tweets and things like that. We did okay for ourselves in 2020. It was my best financial year of my entire life, which is fucked up, right?
Look, the part that a lot of people forget is, everyone was worried about V-shaped recoveries, L-shaped recoveries, all this nonsense. And I think the consensus is there's been a K-shaped recovery. And all these letters don't mean shit, frankly.
What the fuck is a K-shape, bro? What is that?
Look, here's English, right? The rich got richer, the poor got poor. That's what happened. And it's really it just comes down to education. That's the problem is the top 50% of Americans know that they're devaluing the dollar and you got to get out of cash and you got to have investable assets. So invest your money. It's not rocket science, right? If you invest, you're not holding cash.
Bro, I'm old as fuck. Okay. You have to understand, I used to be a drug dealer. I was on the streets. I was doing different shit. Bro, cash has always been king. And it just took till very recently, and people tell me this 10, 15 years ago, oh, bro, cash ain't shit. Da, da, da. I'm like, no, listen, fuck you. But being a real, homeowner, being a real estate owner, owning other things, and I've never really got deep into stocks. But I've invested in other things that you can invest in a business and not necessarily be in stocks and just things go right. I handed a guy $50K, 8 years ago, and I was like, bro, look, man, I've never see this again. And I didn't talk to the guy for 3 fucking years. Then I ran into him, bro, and I thought he thought I was gonna kill him. I was like, bro, look, dude, homie. It is what it is. You're one of the very few people, bro. I haven't seen just hit me up, bro. If you got issues. And dog comes over, writes me a check for $1 million. And I was like, bro, please don't. I'm not going to cash this, bro. It's not going to, come on. You know how stupid I'm going to look if I deposit this, bro? If I deposit a check and it bounces, he's like, bro, dog, don't trip on me. My company just sold for a shitload of money. Dog, that's what I owe you. And I waited 4 or 5 months. And then I finally saw him wait a second, dude. What the fuck? Anyways.
But this is important, right? What you're talking about here is real important because I always tell folks that, if you're the average citizen in the United States, that means that you got a 50-50 shot whether you're invested in assets or not. So the bottom 50% hold no investable assets. The top 50% do. And so the reason why that's a really, really important line to kind of draw through society is an education gap. If we tell the bottom 50%, hey, man, if you just hold cash in your bank account and you have no investments, they keep devaluing the purchasing power. Literally, every dollar that you have is going to buy less and less goods and services over time. So the only way to make sure that doesn't happen is you got to invest. You got to grow your money. You can get your salary, but you're not going to get rich off your salary. You got to go invest.
But now listen,
once people figure that out, then they're ready to rock and roll.
In USA, yes. Now, one of my relatives, he kept using this Korean bank ATM card, a debit card. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, what's up with you, bro? You fucking, what is this card, dog? And he goes, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, bro, why are you using that card? He goes, because it's free. I'm like, it's not free, dog. You're using it. He's like, no, bro, I have $1 million in my, Korea is different. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I have $1 million, in my CD. In Korea, our investments are different. So on a regular bank, I'm at 10% interest right now. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, dude, I'm getting over 8 G's a month, so I just spend it on my, I don't even spend that kind of money on my, but so, cause he bought me some jeans that were like $1,000. We were eating dinner, boom. And I'm like, he goes, bro, this is just interest. I'm like, what? And Korean banks run different. It just made me want, but at the same time, you can't just go to Korea and fucking, put money in there. But it was just something that I didn't understand and I didn't know, and it took so long for me to finally know. But again, like you said, we'll get into this right now. Before we start like the actual interview, I just need to ask a very important question, bro.
All right.
Okay. Are you still wearing a mask while you drive by yourself? Just joking.
All right, so here's the story. So I wake up every morning, and when I wake up, I literally in the shower, I think of myself. I'm like, man, good morning to everyone except, and I just come up with like just dumb shit people do. I said, good morning to everyone who pours the milk in the bowl before they pour the cereal. Good morning to the people.
Does
who
anyone
wear
do
masks.
that? Be real. Nobody does that.
Bro, look at the comments. Look at the comments. These people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, man, that's soup. That's not cereal. That's soup. So look, at the end of the day, I just come with all these stupid things. And I literally, in New York, I saw a bunch of people. Now, the one thing I'll say is maybe they're Uber drivers. So they just got it on. They got to keep it on as part of the job, whatever. But, then I went to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I saw a bunch of people driving around by themselves in the car with their masks on. I'm like, listen, the virus is real. You got to, take care of yourself, whatever. But it ain't going to get you in your car by yourself. You can take it off for there.
Now, if you're in the toilet in a public bathroom, I totally understand that. I get it. But like, someone said, was like, hey, dick fuck, you're an idiot. You fucking, people just like, they start saying shit like, you didn't happen to see my son's in the car, right? And his friend's in the car too. Oh, you have to wear with your son? I'm like, you didn't hear the last part? There's another kid in the car. It's got nothing to do with me. It's just, and I have other people. Sometimes people don't see it. Anyways, let's get fucking rocking, bro. Okay?
All right, let's go.
When did you become a Bitcoin expert? Like, honestly.
I'm not a Bitcoin expert. Look, I understand a lot of it, but I'm still learning every day.
Fuck you.
No, for real. Here's the whole thing, right? Is it's one of these things where Bitcoin is this beautiful thing that the more you learn about it, the more you realize that you got to learn, but also at the same time, the more convicted you become that it's the future in terms of kind of our society. And so for me, it was in really 2016, at the end of 2016, and it was through all the mining stuff. So it was like running the networks and earning Bitcoin for running the Bitcoin network. That's how I got started.
You got in Bitcoin around 16?
Well, we started mining, but again, like I didn't have like really high conviction, so it's not like I went and put a bunch of money into it, right? I think I put like $50,000 in, and I was like, all right, this is interesting. Like, let's see what happens here. I bought $50,000 worth of these mining equipment, and then I started to see it, and it was paying me. It's kind of like what you're saying, like there's cash flow every day. I could look at this dashboard, and there was more and more, of stuff showing up, and so I was like, damn. Okay, I should probably spend some time learning about this. And then the price started to run in 2017. I started paying more attention. And eventually I was like, man, this is going to be a whole new decentralized digital financial system. And the people who understand it the best are going to have a significant advantage. And so for the last 3 years, man, I just said, look, I know this is going to be a thing. I got super high conviction, and I'm going to spend all my time working on it. And, now the price is moving up a lot and all this stuff's happening. Everyone's like, oh my God, you were right or whatever. I'm like, this is just the fun part for all the hard work over the last, couple of years.
So hold on. Okay. So you got in roughly at what, when 16, what was it at?
The price was all over the place. Like, I don't know, let's call it between 16 and 17, like that transition was around like $1,000. And then in 17, it went from 1,000 to, it went to 20,000 at the top. Then it fell from 20,000 at the end of 2017 to, like 3,500, 3,200 in December of 2018. And that's when, I think I really kind of made the big move. So I had put just a little bit of money in whatever I was learning. And then in, December of 2018, when it dropped, I took 50% of my net worth and I put it in, and I held it. And then as it ran up through 2019 and then in 2020, when they started printing all this money from the Federal Reserve, I went from about 50% to over 90%, and I just held it. And, here we are.
Okay, so do you remember what year was it when it peaked at like 15, the first time ever? Was that 15? Was that 16?
No. It peaked. 2011 or 2012, there was one bull market, then it crashed like 85%. Then there was another one in, let's see, it would have been like 2013, right? So I think there was one in like 2011, then there was one in like 2013
When did it hit like 15 and then it like just literally plummeted back to like 8?
Yeah, so that was in the end of 2017. It went from $10,000 to $20,000 in 18 days. And then in December of 2017, it started to fall through the back half of December. And it fell all the way from the beginning of 2018, January 2018, it was probably, I don't know, $16,000, $17,000. It fell that whole year all the way to $3,200 was the bottom in December of 2018.
Okay, so let me break this down. This is how it all started with me. About 8-9 years ago, this kid comes into our store. He's 19 years old. He's never really had any money before, but he's been a fan of mine. A lot of Korean, a lot of young kids. I have really young demographics sometimes. And he just always looked up to me, walked into the store, and he said he inherited $125,000. And I said, hey man, I'm going to be real with you. That's not really a lot of money. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. I'm okay. And he's like, I'm investing in cryptocurrency. And I was like, oh God. I like barely heard about it. I was like, bro, you got to be careful, man. I don't even know you, but you're Korean. Be smart, So this was maybe around 2011, 12. So he had 50,000 coins, right? And paid a few dollars a coin. And we made a Bitcoin chain. And that's the first time we made a Bitcoin chain. I remember the Winklevoss brothers saw that because I have friends who are like mutual friends with them. Boom. I didn't know what their role was exactly. I still don't know. But they saw that was cool. Boom. And then next thing you know, Forbes magazine and Fortune and stuff does a story on us because we're the first online store to accept Bitcoin on Shopify as a jewelry store.
I love it.
So, the kid, he invested whatever. I don't know very much. Maybe he invested 30, 40,000. I don't remember exactly. Oh no, he probably invested like 50 or 60 grand. My cousin, and this is my story why I want you to understand where it's coming from. My cousin asked me to buy some gold. Now we have to buy gold every single day. We weren't buying gold, bullions. We're buying raw gold for spot because I'm making chains, right? I have to buy raw gold to make jewelry every day. So he's like, no, dude, let's get some coins. Let's get this. And I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. He goes, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm just asking you to invest 300 grand. Gold at the time was like $530 an ounce. And he's like, bro, trust me, man. He's like, it's just sitting there. And guess what's going to happen in 5 years? It's still going to be sitting there because you're a dumb fuck. And he goes, and he's telling me, and I'm like, listen, hey, how about go fuck yourself? Now, I didn't invest in it. That cash was sitting somewhere, and it was just actual cash. So my cousin was able to get out for like, $1 million. So he made like 600,000. So I was like, okay, boom. So he invests 400 coins. Okay. He got in right at around 100, 150 bucks, maybe a coin max, right? So I'm like, dude, I'm going to buy 10 coins. And he goes, what are you going to do with 10 coins, bro? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, bro, I'm good. I'm chilling. So it peaks at that year in 17. He got about $250,000 for his coins, right? I forgot how much, somewhere around there. Or yeah, he got around 250 grand. I forgot how many coins he had, but he got 250 grand. And I'm not bullshit you not, Ant. I promise you, I wouldn't bullshit you. He is my 50-50 business partner in IF & Co. We have built the biggest custom jewelry company in the world. For the last few weeks, he's been in a state of depression. And I think it's, quarantine, having kids, being a dad. And we finally sat down on Saturday. I'm trying to be careful because of what's going on, especially in LA. And he finally just said it. He goes, hey, bro, I was like fucking $22 million, bro. And I was like, what's 22? What are you talking about, bro? What do you mean? He goes, bro, I could have had that. And I was like, well, I mean, who gives a fuck? He goes, no, dude. Like, that's why he was depressed, because it was that much money. You know, it was enough for him to retire off of. And he goes, you know, this is all I have. You have a bunch of other businesses. And that's when I knew, when he was complaining about it, right when I did your show, which was almost a year ago, I thought about it. I was like, you know what, dude? I had 30 coins at the time. And so when people were paying me with certain things, it was something that comes up sometimes. Like, hey, can I pay you in Bitcoin? Boom, whatever. I was like, yeah, cool. So I just started stacking, and I only paid attention to you. Didn't pay attention to my partner. Didn't pay attention to my cousin. Didn't pay attention to anybody else. I just paid attention to you. And I don't have a shit ton, but I mean, bro, you made me, I mean, you didn't, but you know what I'm saying? You helped me make a shit ton of money. So I want to say thank you again, you know?
Well, I'm glad I didn't know you was listening to me, or I might have said something stupid.
So currently, I mean, I don't know if that's the etiquette's wrong, but I mean, how many coins do you have now? Or do you just have, I read something where you invested 80% of your net worth into it or something, or?
Yeah, I mean, look, I got enough, right? Is the way that I think about it. And I think that part of this is just, here's the most important thing I ever did when it came to Bitcoin, is I started to denominate everything in Bitcoin. So like if somebody says to you, hey man, you know, how much is that car, right? What do you think? You're like, oh, that car is $30,000, $100,000, whatever. When I think of how much is that car, I think of how much is it in Bitcoin. So, okay, right now that car is 1 Bitcoin, or that car is 3.2 Bitcoin, right? And I think of it that way because it basically is a way for me to say, hey, I have a belief that Bitcoin is going to end up being, you know, materially more in US dollar value than it is today. Now, we can get into why that is, but because I have that belief, I found that I didn't want to spend as much money. Right? Because I say, hey, that means I got to spend this Bitcoin in order to get that item. Do I really want that item? And so when I changed from denominating everything in dollars to denominating everything in Bitcoin, it just became a game of accumulation. It was just, how do I get as much Bitcoin as possible? And how do I not spend, kind of Bitcoin or dollars so that I can buy more Bitcoin? And that was probably the best decision I ever made. And I think a lot of people are starting to make that, kind of that switch.
That's fucking amazing, bro. Like I look at like how you said that. I used to look at things as a gold chain, or I look at it as a Rolex. I'm like, bro, like I'm not gonna buy that. That's fucking 3 fucking presidents right there. That's 3 Rolex presidents. Like, and I used to think of things randomly like that. Not necessarily dollars, but I did use a different type of currency in my own brain. So it's genius that you said that.
Yeah, because here's the other thing, right? Is when you look at it, you say, all right, today, 1 Bitcoin, we're recording this, is like $35,000, right? It was $10,000, 6 months ago or whatever it was, right? So it's gone materially up right now, and a lot of people are like, damn, I had bought it at 10,000, it's worth 35,000. If I sell it, I got a bunch of dollars, right? But I'm young, right? I'm 32. And so I have got this really, really long time horizon when I think about it. And so I'm looking at it and saying Bitcoin is 10 times better than gold from a technology standpoint.
Yeah.
And so if Bitcoin's market cap only 2x's gold, that's all it's got to do. It's just be 2 times bigger than gold. And a digital gold is bigger than the analog or the physical gold. I think everyone kind of agrees. Like, yeah, of course the digital product's going to be bigger. And so 2x bigger means that each Bitcoin is worth like $1 million. Now that might not happen for 10 years or 15 years, right? So you got to have a long time horizon, but still, do you want to be the guy who is like, damn, I bought that car for $35,000, and 10 years from now you're talking to your kid and your kid's like, hey dad, you ever heard of this Bitcoin thing? You're like, yeah, I spent 1 Bitcoin on a car that was worth $35,000. Now Bitcoin's trading at $1 million.
Bro, $1 million, come on, dog. And for real, seriously, Pomp?
Listen, I think that Bitcoin is going to eclipse the gold market cap. So right now it's at about $700 billion. Gold's at, let's call it, 9 to 10 trillion. I think that Bitcoin is bigger than gold by the end of this decade, right? So that puts us at over $1 trillion, over $10 trillion in Bitcoin market cap, which will put the price at least at $500,000, right? And so if you look at the way that this thing grows, I personally believe we're all underestimating this. Like, because again, go back. If Bitcoin is actually 10 times better and the market cap actually 10x's, right? Think about this for a second. And the market cap 10x is gold. That'd be $100 trillion market cap, which is 10 times gold's $10 trillion market cap. And at 100 trillion, every single Bitcoin is worth about $5 million.
So hold on.
Like you start talking about these numbers, it's crazy.
Let me break this down
that's
to
what
you,
I'm
though.
talking about.
You're talking about digital gold and you're talking about regular gold as well. Just gold total, okay? Look, we're not going to get into conspiracies or things, but you're a lot younger. But do you remember who Imelda Marcos is?
I do not.
Okay, so Imelda Marcos was the wife of Marcos, who was the dictator of the Philippines in the 80s. Okay, he had died, boom. There was always a joke. If you ask your mom or anybody, be like, oh, do you have a lot of shoes like Imelda Marcos? Boom. Like any socialite, doesn't matter who it is, she showed her shoes on, I don't know if it was 2020 or Barbara Walters, whatever, and she had like maybe 3,000 pairs like in 83. Like to have 3,000 pairs now is still a shitload for Kylie Jenner or somebody, but this was back in the day. So 3 or 4 years ago, she decided, hey, listen, the government has changed so many times. They hate us. You know, like I don't want the Philippines, my own motherland country, to hate me anymore. You know, so what I'm going to do is before I die, she declared she has 400 million in gold. 400 million. The thing is, no one knew about this. So I don't know if that shorts the market or anything, but there's like a couple people like that. Like if she was to give her gold or turn it in, bro, like, do you know what I'm saying? Because people don't exactly know how much gold really exists in the world. You know, it's just a weird thing. Whereas with Bitcoin, you know, because you were talking about, you know, the market cap, I'm just saying.
Listen, it is absolutely true that there are families around the world. A lot of people in the United States don't understand this, right? So you've got a perspective that a lot of Americans don't have, which is historically, you know, take Indian families, for example. They literally store their wealth in precious metals and they pass it down from generation to generation.
Truth.
And they do that because they know that it holds the purchasing power, right? And Americans, especially people who have kind of really come into money over the last 50 years or so, what they've done is they've just been put into this dollar-based system, and the bottom 50% try to pass cash to each other, and it gets devalued away. But what do the richest families in America do? They don't really pass gold as much. You know, it's not a cultural thing, but it's real estate. They pass real estate. Every rich person in the world's got real estate in the United States, and they're all passing it down to each other. And so it's the same exact mechanism. The difference here, though, is that those are all analog products, meaning that they are in physical form. I can't pick up the house and move it, right? It's a big-ass house that's worth a lot of money, and it sits there. And I can't also move a bunch of gold, $400 million of gold. I can't just pick it up and take it with me on an airplane.
Bro, you couldn't even pick up $1 million in gold. You couldn't even carry that. Yeah. I know.
Of course. And so all of a sudden, this product comes along that's digital, that's superior from a use case standpoint in terms of I can send it to anyone in the world immediately. I don't need permission from anybody. And I'm willing to bet your audience, that's the part that they love the most, is this is a product that serves as money that doesn't rely on getting permission from anybody. The banks don't need to say yes. The government doesn't need to say yes. Nobody. Okay. The people want to use it, they can use it.
So that's
the beauty of it.
So that's my next question, right? So how mad is the government because they can't control it? I'm just like, from your perspective.
Look, there's some people in the government that are mad, and there's some people who like it, right? I mean, it's like anything in politics. Any topic, there's people on all sides of it. But what I think that is the most important for people who are trying to learn about Bitcoin is that there's a global game theory at play. So if the United States wanted to shut it down, they can't stop it. It's a decentralized system. So, the tech companies right now are under all this heat. They call up Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey or whoever, and they say, hey, come in front of Congress. You know, if you don't do what we say, we're going to break you up, or we're going to put you in jail, or shut down your servers or whatever. It's a centralized company, and the government can go after them. With Bitcoin, they can't do that. Can't call anybody in front of Congress. They can't, arrest anybody. They can't shut down the entire system. What they could do is they could say, hey, in the United States, if you're holding Bitcoin, it's illegal. You got to go to jail. They could say that. But what is going to happen around the rest of the world is all these other people, China, Russia, Iran, all these places. Like, oh, shit, the U.S. don't want to use that as money. We'll use it as money because it'll get us off the U.S. dollar. Like, thank you, United States. Appreciate it. And we're going to go use this new system. And so the game theory keeps everyone from banning it and just says, look, the United States, in my opinion, is eventually going to put Bitcoin in the central bank. They're literally going to put alongside gold and all the other assets, they're going to put some Bitcoin. And that's okay. And so you don't need the dollar to fail for Bitcoin to succeed, you just need coexistence, right? There will be digital dollars and there will be Bitcoin, and they're all digital currencies. They just serve different purposes.
I mean, was this really made for hackers originally? Do you think that? Do you believe that? Is that really what it was?
No, I don't think so much that it was made for hackers as much as it was definitely made for two reasons. So one is it was made to solve the problems in the financial system, right? Which is essentially that the banks, and especially the central banks, exist in this heavily manipulated, intervention-driven world, right? We saw it earlier in 2020. Coronavirus hit. The first thing that happened is the government said, we're going to mandate shutdowns. And then the Federal Reserve and elected officials stepped in and said, we're going to put interest rates at zero and we are going to print trillions of dollars. And they did it. And they just pumped it into the economy. But what they didn't tell everyone is that's a tax. When the government did that, they taxed the bottom 50%. They made dollars worth less. And they said to the people who are holding assets, they said, hey, we're going to make your assets go up in price. So stocks went up, gold went up, Bitcoin went up, all this stuff went up, but the people holding cash got hurt. And so when you live in a world where there's intervention, now with this Bitcoin system, now all of a sudden we don't need to have that intervention because Bitcoin doesn't have an ability to intervene. You can't make more of it. You can't control it. And so that's really why it was created. And then on top of it, from a technical standpoint, it solved this problem. It's called a double spend problem. But basically, a bunch of nerds got together and they said, hey, we're smart. There's this problem that we can't solve. And I say nerds in like the most lovable way because it's way smarter than me.
I get it.
and they basically came on and they said, all right, there's this problem where, let's say in the music industry, I got the latest Drake song and you want it. You say, yo, Pomp, send me the Drake song. I hit send on the computer. The computer creates a copy of the music file and sends you a file, and I still have a file. I can listen to the song. You can listen to the song. We're both happy because we could listen to the same song. I didn't have to give you my explicit file, right? I got mine, you got yours now.
Right.
The problem is if money is a computer file, if I can just hit send and it creates a duplicate and you don't know whether you got the original or the counterfeit, then there's no point in money, right? I can just make as much of it as I want. So what you had to do is prevent that. That's called the double spend problem. How do I prevent Pomp from spending that money twice? And so what basically they did is they created this blockchain. It's a whole technical system that essentially means when Ben says, yo, send me a Bitcoin and I send you a Bitcoin, you got the original Bitcoin and I can't go spend it. I can't, have a copy or a counterfeit. Like you got the original.
Right.
And that kind of unleashed this whole ability to really digitize money.
Okay. So like, you're talking about banks and shit, right? And I remember I read this like in real time, but J.P. Morgan's CEO, that Jamie dude, he called
Dimon.
He called Bitcoin a fraud, right? Like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Like, what does he think now? Just do you know? Is he changed his mind because of this, or is he still just hating?
Look, Jamie Dimon's got two jobs: make money and make sure he communicates with his customers, right? And so 2-3 years ago, he didn't think he could make money on Bitcoin. He thought it was going to go away, and he knew his customers were asking about it. And the popular thing at the time to say, because it was a super contrarian idea, was to say, hey, this is a bubble. This is a tulip mania. It's for criminals, all the things he said. Now, over the last 2 or 3 years, it's gone from a contrarian trade to a consensus trade on Wall Street. Now he can't say that because Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, Goldman Sachs, Guggenheim, like all these dudes are all saying, hey, my institution's in. We're in. This is real. This is serious. And so now Jamie Dimon can't say, hey, it's a bubble, it's whatever, because the customers now want to actually get exposure to Bitcoin. But what Jamie Dimon can do now Jamie Dimon can make money on it. So he basically went from I can't make money and I got to say bad things to now I got to say good things, but I can make money on it. So Jamie Dimon's going to be just fine. And by the way, we should welcome him. We should educate him and tell him, yes, you're right. You can make money on this. Here's how you make money. Because what it's going to do is it's only going to further proliferate the adoption of the currency. And eventually every bank's going to hold Bitcoin. Every central bank's going to hold Bitcoin. Every individual is going to hold Bitcoin. I don't know what the timeline is. Maybe it's 2 years, 10 years, whatever. But eventually they're all going to be playing this game. So come on. We open arms for all of them. That's fine. I don't care what you said in the past. Just come on. Just come buy the Bitcoin. Let's go.
I like that attitude. So honestly, you don't think there's not going to be a bubble? It's not going to burst, whatever. But I mean,
no, the historical context is important, right? It went from literally this. One Bitcoin used to be pennies, like 3 cents, 4 cents, right? And it went all the way up, and now it's at $40,000. And people are like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" But along the way, it went down 80+% 3 different times. So there's absolutely a lot of volatility, right? In 2017, it went up 20x in a single year. But during that year, I think it was 5 different times, it crashed more than 30%. So in a year where it went up 20x, right, it went from 1,000 to 20,000, it's still 5 separate times during the year it went down 30%. So what I always tell people is it's just super volatile. You can't think you're going to trade this thing. Just dollar cost average in, accumulate Bitcoin, hold it on the side, have a long-term perspective, and don't look at the day-to-day price or you're going to go crazy.
Right. I mean, last week when it hit 40, in like an hour later or 2 hours later, it went down to 35, right? Or 32 or something. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm just kind of like, yo, dude, I've never been a long-term dude. I'm like, listen, man, what's going to happen in 5 minutes? Fuck tomorrow, fuck everything. I want to live for now. I'm being serious, and I'm an older dude. I really, because of kids, I really do think long-term game. I've been definitely better at it. But do you see, I mean, could it go to $5,000 a coin? You think that's, I mean, I know it's possible, but I'm saying, is it likely, you think?
So the way I think about price is nobody knows where it's going short term, right? What I think of is more kind of medium term. So in 2019, I started writing publicly about, hey, I think that Bitcoin is going to have this halving, this kind of supply shock to the system, sometime in the first half of 2020. That happened, and I said, and when that happens, I think we're going to see a lot of manipulation in the regular economy through the Federal Reserve. That happened, and I said, and those two things are going to be rocket fuel for Bitcoin. And in 2019, I said, I think it's going to hit $100,000 in before the end of 2021. We're tracking pretty nicely to that. But whether we hit it or not, again, I just keep telling people that if you dollar cost average, you will be okay. So let me give you a wild stat. If you started to buy Bitcoin in December 2017, if you bought it at $20,000 and you made one purchase and then you just held that, you would have had to hold it all the way until the end of 2020. So literally from 2017 to 18, 19, 20, 3 years. But if during that same time you had started buying in December 2017 and every week just bought the same amount, even though it went down 80+% and stayed down there for 3 years, you would have been up like 50% or something by the time it came back to the same price.
Right.
Because it's just dollar cost averaging, right? You would have bought a bunch of Bitcoin down at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000, $14,000. And so by dollar cost averaging, it basically insulates you. You don't have to worry about the price. You just, hey, every week I'm going to buy, $20. All right, cool. I'm going to do it every Monday, 8 a.m. Bang, 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 bang. And you just keep doing it every single week and stay disciplined. And by dollar cost averaging, you just drastically increase the likelihood that you are immune or insulated from those, drastic kind of volatile drawdowns.
Okay, so like, do me a favor, man. Explain to these people, like, I didn't even know this. I'm a weirdo. I didn't know this. Like, I'm thinking you could buy 1/10 of a coin, right? Or 1/100th of a coin.
Yeah. You could buy $5. So one Bitcoin's worth, let's say, $35,000 today. But basically, most people think of it like a stock share. So, okay, how much is the stock? Oh, Amazon stock is, whatever. It's $1,000. So I got to have $1,000 to buy it. If I don't have $1,000, I can't buy the stock. Well, when Robinhood came around, Robinhood started to provide fractional shares. So Robinhood said, if you have $5, you could buy $5 worth of Amazon stock. That's why all the young people went and they love Robinhood. And they do that. Well, Bitcoin was built in a similar way where one coin is worth $35,000, but you can literally buy $5. Now, it's not fractional shares like a stock, right? It's actually, you actually own the Bitcoin. But that Bitcoin goes out, there's 100 million fractions in every coin.
Right.
So the way to think about it is, it's, 8 decimal places, I think, right? So it's 1 point and then there's 8 zeros. And those 8 zeros get you to 100 million fractions, but they're called Satoshis. That's the unit of measurement. So literally you could say to somebody, I'll send you 10,000 Satoshis, or I'll send you 50,000 Satoshis. And, I don't know what it is at today's price. Maybe that's $20, right? Or whatever it's equivalent to. So you don't have to be able to buy a $35,000 single Bitcoin, right? You could buy the fractions. You just go in and think, okay, I got $20 to buy. Cool, buy $20 worth of Bitcoin today.
And that's what I want you guys to understand. And that's such an important thing because everyone tells me, well, I'm not going to get in now. I can't buy it. 35,000. Motherfucker, no one said you had to. And I wanted him to explain that to you because it's a big deal. You know, you can buy, if you have 5,000, buy $5,000 worth. You know what I mean? I got in again in August. Was it? No, July, when I tweeted you again. I was like, yo, bro, I'm buying some more. And I was at 9,000 something. You know, and I said, fuck it. I was like, damn. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to buy. And I could have bought fractions, whatever. But you know me, I'm not going to do that. But real quick, explain the halving to these people, like when that happened.
Yeah, so think of it as there's 21 million Bitcoin total. That's the most there will ever be. They're not making more of it, right? It's even better than land. 21 million ever. And the person or group that created Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, said, all right, I'm going to take all the Bitcoin and basically I'm going to create a system where it programmatically, right? So automatically is going to put more and more Bitcoin out of that 21 million into the hands of the market, like the circulating supply. So it said, we're going to start every 10 minutes, we're going to put 50 Bitcoins into the market. And we're going to do that every 10 minutes for 4 years. And after 4 years, we're going to go from 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. We're going to cut it in half. We're going to go to 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And so it did that for another 4 years. And then after 4 years of 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, it then cut in half and went to 12.5. Did that for 4 years. And then in May 2020, it just cut from 12.5 to 6.25 Bitcoin per day, right? Or I'm sorry, per 10 minutes. So the way to think about it is like there was 1,800 Bitcoin per day that were being newly introduced into the market. And then in May 2020, that dropped from 1,800 to 900 Bitcoin per day. And so all that does is it just, again, it's a supply shock, meaning that there was way more Bitcoin before per day. Now there's only 50% of that Bitcoin. And so if demand continues to rise and the supply is actually capped on the total supply and has a decreasing circulating supply, the US dollar price has to go up to accommodate everyone, right? It's just supply demand economics. If you only got 3 chains and there's 20 buyers, the price is going up.
Yeah, of course.
Compared to if you only got three buyers.
And that's what's going on with me right now because I'm not doing, I used to make 25, 30 chains a year. I'm making like 4 or 5 now. So, you know, the people are kind of willing to bid out, you know, outbid each other, whatever it is, you know.
Completely agree.
So you keep talking about Satoshi, which obviously I know, but I want to go back to the Winklevoss bros, like, you know, the guys from Facebook and stuff. Like, what's their role exactly in Bitcoin?
Look, they don't get enough credit, man. Both Cameron and Tyler, you know, they had the whole thing with Facebook. And they actually heard about Bitcoin when they were partying in Ibiza. This guy, Charlie Shrem, told them about it. And they started looking at it. They became really interested. They learned a ton about it. And so they took, you know, give or take about $10 million. I think it was back in like 2011 or 2012. And they bought 210,000 Bitcoin. So 1% of all the available Bitcoin. And they basically, you know, secured it real securely. And they've held it. And so just that alone, 210,000 Bitcoin, like they're both billionaires off of just that purchase alone. And then they've built an entire crypto exchange called Gemini. It's one of the like better regulated, you know, kind of above board, super secure exchanges. They've been really involved in a lot of the other coins that have been created in terms of either investing or holding it.
That's 8.4 billion, bro. You're telling me the Winklevoss brothers are worth 8.4 billion now?
Oh, they're worth way more than that. I bet you that Cameron and Tyler, I don't know for sure. Like, you know, I talked to them and stuff, but I have no clue. But that's just the first purchase they ever made of 210,000 Bitcoin is worth 8.4 billion. So plus if you include their ownership of Gemini, plus you include kind of all of the other stuff they own, it wouldn't surprise me if those two guys are worth 10 billion each. So 20 billion total.
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, look, everyone laughs, right? They're like, oh, Cameron and Tyler, guys from the social network, those are the Facebook dudes, right? Nah, man, these dudes are going to go down as some of the best investors in the world. Like they literally took $10 million and they've turned it into $8.4 billion. Just that one investment. Show me anybody who's even come close, right?
No, nobody. So what's up with Elon Musk's new crypto? What's that shit called?
He's playing around with Dogecoin.
Yeah, Doge. What's up with that thing? I think it just barely hit $1, right?
Yeah, that's a complete meme. Some guy created that like years ago, joking around. That's why he's got like a dog as the mascot. He was just screwing around on the internet trying to be funny. And then, of course, you know, like all the guys on Reddit and stuff were like, "Oh, let's use the meme coin. Let's use Dogecoin." And they started joking around with it. And so, Elon likes the memes. Elon likes to joke around. So he basically was like, yo, I'm the CEO. He said, I'm the former CEO of Dogecoin. And of course, those guys loved it. They're like, yo, we got a billionaire who now is like in on the meme. And so that's what he's always talking about.
But people don't know that's a joke, though. They think that's because I heard some people talking about it this weekend in Malibu. They're like, hey, man, Elon
They think
Musk
it's dead serious.
Yeah,
they think it's dead serious. But he's joking.
So what about like Ethereum and Litecoin and shit and everything? Are those doing good or?
Yeah, I mean, look, when Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes up, right? Is usually how it works. And so whether it's, Ethereum and kind of all these other things, I personally only hold Bitcoin. Like that's my thing.
That's me too.
I feel like that's my circle of competence. I understand it. I've done a lot of work on it. I've got a high conviction in it. There's other people who feel like the other stuff, they got, high conviction. A lot of people speculating. They're basically buying it like penny stocks, right? They're like, oh, I heard this one that's at 20 cents is going to 30 cents. I'm going to buy that one. Whatever. But like, I always tell folks, you got to understand who you are. Are you an investor? Are you a trader? Or are you a gambler? Right. And each one of those three people have different risk tolerances. And also they have different profiles of the return they're trying to capture. And so if you're a gambler, sure, go buy the things that, 20 cents that you think is going to $2. I don't know. But by the way, there's no difference between gambling on that or going and playing blackjack. Right? If you're an investor, well, you better have a thesis. You better really understand. You better be able to elaborate. You better be able to have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you and defend your idea. Like that's much harder to do on some of these, other things. With Bitcoin, it's pretty well understood. There's a lot of smart people who have scrutinized it. It's kind of passed the test of time and the intellectual war, if you will. And so, I tend to think that one's going to be the king for a long time.
So what other investments are you into besides crypto? Like, is there anything else? You seem like you're pretty heavy into that. Is there anything else that you've invested in that you would suggest?
Yeah, I've invested over $100 million into early stage companies, all early stage technology companies. And so, that's across all kinds of different sectors. A lot of it is invested into companies in the Bitcoin and crypto space. So exchanges and, kind of like infrastructure type companies that are helping build the ecosystem. But I've also invested in things outside of it. Things people probably heard on here are imperfect foods, used to be called imperfect produce. They basically take ugly fruit from the farm and they sell it to you in a box. And now they do like online grocery. And then a company called Everlywell. They do like online, like kind of like Amazon for healthcare, right? Basically, you go on, you can buy at-home diagnostic testing and stuff like that. So pretty much I only do two things. I do Bitcoin, and then I do early stage venture capital type investing. And that's it. I own no public stocks. I don't screw around none of that stuff. I got a little bit of real estate, and that's it.
So give me so for my listeners, for the BTB Army, right? Can you give them what's a starter pack for them? What's the best way for them to start buying crypto, right? Or start buying Bitcoin? What would be the easiest way for them to access that?
So if they got to do one thing, my biggest suggestion would be they should go and they should open up a BlockFi account. BlockFi is a company I've invested in, a lot of money. I sit on the board, and these guys basically built an ability to buy Bitcoin. You can sit it in an account. It pays you interest. I think they pay like 4 or 5% interest on your Bitcoin. They pay you in Bitcoin every month, and it's secure. They use the Winklevoss's custody stuff, so it's super secure. And so to me, that's the easiest way. It's just you go, you get a BlockFi account, you buy some Bitcoin, you sit in that interest-bearing account. They pay you interest every month in Bitcoin, and you just watch it compound, and then you just dollar cost average in, buy more and more, whatever periodic point you think is best.
And guys, that's www.blockfi.com.
Yeah, /Pomp. If they go BlockFi.com/Pomp, I think they get some, I don't know what it is, something free or whatever.
You get a mask. You can wear it in the car by yourself. I'm playing with you.
I don't know what it is, but that's the one they always tell me to send the people to. BlockFi.com/Pomp.
Let me ask you a question totally outside of all of this shit. Are you going to take the vaccine?
Somebody recently asked me on their show the same question. Here's my view is I don't think we have enough information yet for somebody like me to do it. Like it feels like there's a lot of people who are way more important than me that need it immediately. Like for me, it's like we should immediately optimize for old people to take it, for sick people to take it, for healthcare workers to take it. Like I'm like the last person on the list that they should be rushing to give it to, right? And it's not because I don't want it or I want it, or none of that even matters. It's just like, if you stack rank importance, I'm literally at the bottom, a 32-year-old healthy dude who like, basically stays away from everybody as much as I can. Like,
I get it.
I'm the last dude to take this. And so this whole thing about like, hey, who's going to take the vaccine? I'm like, man, y'all should just tell people, if you're over the age of 60, we're getting you the vaccine first. If you're sick, we're getting you the vaccine. If you go into the COVID ward, you're getting the vaccine first. Like, it's not rocket science. Let's take care of these people.
No, for sure. It was just a question I wanted to ask. That's it. So, the last question I ask every single guest that comes on the show is there anything you want to ask me?
What's the craziest thing you've ever done with money?
Oh, fuck, man. I talked about this one time, and it was just fucking embarrassing, man. It's just, but it was just, craziest, like, just like fucking it off? You mean just like?
Yeah, it's just like you look back and you're like, man, that was absolutely insane. I can't believe I did that.
We were just driving down, like, I don't know how well you know streets, but there's like one street, it's called La Cienega, and it's like La Cienega goes all the way from LAX, and even goes farther, but it goes from La Cienega, it goes all the way to Sunset Boulevard. And if you drive a little bit south of Beverly Hills, you'll start to see some car dealerships. And these car dealerships are like, they sell high mileage Range Rovers, high mileage S-classes, and like, older. You're never going to have anything immediate current year. You might have the current model, but like, like the shape. But like they'll sell like a 60,000 mile Benz or like, Range Rover. So you could just kind of look cool in LA. It's that whole image bullshit. So me and my best friend, Jonas Bavakwa, rest in peace, one of the smartest guys I know, one of the craziest, savviest business dudes. We were driving down and we just said, yo, man, you want to do some stupid shit? And so we bought a fucking Range Rover. It had like 100,000 miles on it, bro. Right? And we just filled it up with fucking ones and fives, man. Filled it the whole fucking thing. It wasn't even, really, to tell you the truth, it took like, I forgot how many, and we fucking set the car on fire. It was really stupid. It was really irresponsible. It was really lame. But it was just, that was the craziest thing I did. You know what I mean? We just set it on fire. And the thing is,
and it had money in it?
We filled it up with $1 bills pretty much. And then we set it on fire. And the thing is, back then it was like, we had BlackBerry cameras. And it was like not even 360 pixels. It was really fucking bad. But we videotaped the shit, and then it got really fucking bad. So I had one of my boys who has a body shop like, yo, bro, I need you to go over here real quick, please, and take this car and just fucking get it the fuck out of there. And he goes, you guys have a fire extinguisher? I was like, no, we don't. And he goes, bro, you're gonna get arrested. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know, bro, just please. And like, he had went over there and took care of it before the fire department came. Because it was like in a random ass area by like the airport. just did
bro,
it, dude.
I've heard a lot of crazy stories. That might be one of the craziest.
Yeah. Bro, we didn't even own the car 30 minutes. We drove straight down to like an open area and just like boom, like yo, just some jackass shit. I was drinking fucking lean or the cough syrup shit. I was just being stupid. I was being just ridiculous. But Pomp, man, seriously, I have to be honest with you. As far as a business podcast, one, I don't tune in all the time. I tune in as much as I can. I have to say, in layman's terms, like breaking it down to a 5-year-old, this is probably one of the most articulate business episodes that I've had on my show. Like, I really appreciate you coming on. This was really helpful for, especially right now, people want to, they want to know, they're curious, they're hungry. Like, where do I put our money? Like, don't buy some fucking Jordans, don't buy a Gucci belt with your fucking stimulus. Like, go, bro, like if you can sit on something, because if you're going to throw weight on some shoes, buy some Bitcoin.
We're going to change your name from Ben Baller to Ben Bitcoin.
You said the thing the other day, and I can't believe I never thought of that term. But I remember like Ben Baller did the blockchain. When you said that, I was like, oh shit, Ben Baller did the blockchain. It's fucking amazing, dude.
Nah, man, listen, I appreciate the opportunity to come on here. I'm a big fan of the show, so I appreciate it, and we'll definitely have to do it again.
Thank you so much, Pomp. I really appreciate you, bro. And man, you're welcome any fucking time. Yo, Miles, man, throw on some Lakey Lake real quick, and we're going to go to a break. Yo, I'm not going to lie to you, yo. It feels good to get the Instagram back, but it also was cool not having it. But I'm really like, I'm just so like, how many fucking stupid people that follow me? Like, I love sports. I love, obviously, my Lakers more than anything, right? I like the Seahawks. I like the Dodgers, right? The Lakers are obviously the number one thing that are important to me. Just right now, I'm not focused on, I'm not locked in on them. I'm watching the games, but I'm not paying attention super deep, right? But like people are like, yo, we know you disabled my Instagram account. I think about it like, yo, do you guys realize how big last year was too? And the fact that it was us and the Niners, our rivals, our true rival. And it was a home game, and like people were like, yeah, but you did disable the comments. But no, I didn't. There's fucking 2,150 comments on that picture, and I've never ever disabled the comments. What the fuck are you talking about? Then we went to the first round and lost against the Packers, and I flew there. The fuck are you guys? You guys are crazy. You'd be like, oh, of course you bring up money. Who wouldn't bring up money? No matter how successful or rich I am, yo, listen, man, losing money ain't cool, especially when it's something pretty chill. You like that makes no sense. You ask yourself, how many of you, no matter how much you loved your team, okay, would delete your page, okay, over a game when you had shit to promote and you had $60,000 on the line? All right, you guys think about that for 1 second. We're going to get into some new shit. Anyways, the Tiger Woods documentary is out. Episode 1 is out. And yo, that shit was deep. Like, I've always been a Tiger Woods fan. He's a couple years younger than me. I remember when this shit was happening. There was a TV show called That's Incredible. It's one of my favorite shows. I think it was on ABC. And it was a show that showcased people that were just talented, whether it be music, anything else. And I remember Tiger Woods being on That's Incredible when he was like 3 or 4 years old. And this motherfucker was golfing, and I was like 6 or something or 7. Super talented. Obviously, turned out to be huge. But I remember when he was in college. I remember when he was doing his thing, and then he went to the pros, and things went great. My mom was obviously huge golf fan. My stepdad, rest in peace, Leo. He was a big golfer. My mom's goddaughter is Sari Pak, the first Korean to ever be in the PGA Hall of Fame. Not the LPGA, but the fucking PGA Hall of Fame. Yes, she's right there next to Jack Nicklaus. So, my mom was obsessed with Tiger Woods. And my sister-in-law, she totally hated Tiger Woods. She loved him to death, like obsessed with Tiger. But then when she found out that he cheated on his wife, she like hated him, like to this. And I get it, women should be that way, but it's like, yo, man, I'm a different type of dude, like I'm a fucking scumbag, right? Like, I almost like Tiger 50 times more when he got caught, of course, it just was, that's just a toxic way I am. But, this documentary really kind of went deep into a little bit of his psyche, really, I can't believe there was that much videotape on him as a young kid. And his dad talk about him and everything. And I didn't know his dad was a Green Beret and was really like in the shit, like shooting motherfuckers and, detonating bombs and all kinds of crazy shit, jumping out of planes and stuff. But his dad was the original scumbag, right? And I don't want to ruin the doc for you. I mean, if you guys don't know anything about Tiger, but, it hasn't got to the part yet where he gets crazy. But, another thing too is the reason why I fuck with Tiger so heavy is because he's from Southern California, right? He's from literally, I mean, it's technically OC now. It kind of wasn't really considered OC then, I guess. I don't know. But, he grew up right there in Orange County, and it's kind of a trip because this girl I dated, her cousin he's a pro. And Koreans love golf, and he's a pro. And his little brother is also really, really good. And the course they played at was Navy. And the crazy thing is, I didn't know until I watched the documentary that you couldn't play at the Navy course unless you were part of the military or affiliated somehow with the military. And that was Tiger's home course. And, he actually was super close with the golf pro at Navy, and they were lifelong friends or whatever. And I'm excited to see the new episode. Episode 2 drops on Sunday. I think it's a 2-part episode. But it was fucking amazing just watching his life and everything. And it hasn't got to the part where he's fucking porn stars and all that crazy shit. And he wasn't slick. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker called it, I forgot what that porn star chick's name was, but he's like, yo, hey, it's me, Tiger. And I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, how are you just so unslick? But anyways, man, I don't know much about what happened after, just seeing the memes and shit. I hope he's good. I hope his kids are good. And, the crazy part is, in the world of MJ, Shaq, and all the shit that was going on, LeBron's probably still young. Tiger he was going to be the first sports billionaire. He was going to be the first billionaire in sports. And then that shit happened and fucked everything up. Anyways, check out that documentary. There's nothing else I can think of that I've been watching. That's pretty much it. This Saturday, I am dropping my Jackie Robinson autos. I got a special treat. 3 of the cards are special cards, going to be randomized, right? Because people can't just buy one, it's random. He wore number 42. You obviously should know that's my number 42. So there's 1 of 42 Jackie Robinson cards, doing a very special price for the Jackie Robinson autos. We're doing $300, the lowest priced ever. The lowest price autos we've ever done, 42. And we obviously got a 1 of 5. Going to drop the price on that crazy as well. And we're doing all the Jackie Robinsons in blue autos. This is a lot of people's favorite card of the entire set. So make sure you are around Saturday morning, probably 9, 10 a.m., somewhere around there. Don't know, I'll be off the grid. Hopefully I have service. Jackie Robinson autos drop on bbdtc.com. It's been kind of quiet, right? It's been a few weeks since we had anything, but that's going to be a lit drop. Speaking of Topps has a huge announcement that's going on this weekend. Make sure you stay tuned or locked into their social media. It's big announcement with Topps. On to the NBA. Kyrie Irving decided he wanted to get out. He took a break, personal leave for mental health or some shit. And, a lot of times when people say that shit is bullshit. I remember when I had a lot of problems when I was a kid and I would say, so I need to do that. At the same time, maybe I did, but at the same time, you could toughen that shit out. You can work that shit out. A lot of people don't want to work it out. They don't want to talk to nobody. Some people do. Some people want to focus on that. I'm not saying that mental problems aren't real. They fucking are. I was one of the first people to have anxiety issues and everything else. I'm just saying people could be high functioning. It's like autism. People who are high on the spectrum, there's people who are high functioning. There's people who are low on the spectrum. There's people who have Asperger's. There's all different type of things. With mental health, it's the same. All I'm saying is people have abused that privilege. And I feel bad for the people who really can't even fucking come up with a sentence. This guy is gifted beyond belief. And he's out just fucking around. And I'm not saying, okay, it's your sister's birthday, but it's like, yo, man, you're still not getting what's going on with the rules and what's going on with the NBA and the games and what's at stake. And, you want to go party at your favorite club in Jersey. It's like, all right, man, what the fuck you doing, bro? I just knew he was a weirdo when he was dating Kalani and they went through that shit and he's just always been weird. There's never been, look, 1,000 people can't be wrong, right? And when everyone says you're an asshole, you're an asshole. No matter what, oh man, people don't know me. Shut the fuck up. You could change, motherfucker. You can redirect all that shit. You can say, oh, I don't give a fuck. No, you give a fuck, right? When you're a dick, you're a dick. People want to say I'm a dick. I'm never going to argue with them, all right? That's cool. I don't do it on purpose. It's naturally me. All right. Now, when it comes to him, everyone said he's kooky, kind of off. Something thinks he's bigger than the NBA, thinks he's bigger than the league. I don't know. I never really was a Kyrie fan. I don't really care. Kind of feel bad for my boy Durant, but crazy shit yesterday. James Harden got traded to the Nets. And, the first person to say something was Boogie Cousins. Let me tell you something, man. Boogie used to be a beast. I'll tell you that. He was fucking crazy. That motherfucker was averaging 40 nights a game one week and smashing him up, boom, and then he got his fucking Achilles hurt, and dude is trash. May sound fucked up or whatever. Bro, you in the league, you could be judged. Fuck Boogie Cousins. He's a bitch. That motherfucker ain't doing shit. I got into it with him at a game one time, saying, oh, I wasn't, I was looking forward to playing with John Wall. Motherfucker, no, you weren't, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You sound stupid as fuck saying that. And people are like, oh, I agree. It's so funny in the back. I'm not saying because you disagree with me or people in general. I don't know who would disagree with me and listen to the show or the casual listeners. It just sounds so fucking funny when you got one of the best dudes in the NBA, maybe top 5, and you went to the team to go play with someone else. And John Wall's a beast too. I'm just saying, come on, man. You go into a fucking party and, you're lit. And there's fucking Kim Kardashian and fucking Emily Ratajkowski. And then there's fucking Kristen Wiig. And you go into the party and they're all single. You guys are all, you guys are ready to mingle and everything. And you're like, well, shit, man, fuck Kim, fuck Emily. You know what I'm saying? I came in to fuck Kristen Wiig. Bitch, shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. Fuck out of here. Anyways, everyone thought he was going to the fucking Sixers or whatever. Or some people did. They're like, nah, they ain't going to go there. They ain't going to, just got too much to trade or whatever. Look, man. I think they gave up, whatever, nothing too crazy, but the Kyrie situation, man, He's just fucking crazy. So I think Harden and KD are going to be a problem. I think they're going to win the East. They're going to crush it. I just think Kyrie's just too unpredictable, too unreliable. But had he gone to the Sixers, I just don't think it would have been. I mean, even with the fucking situation with Kyrie being fucked up, I don't think it was a big fit. And I guess whatever, Ben Simmons was worried because he was like, oh, well, he thinks that he can get a chip at Philadelphia. Bro, let me tell you something, man. Philly's not getting no chip with that team right there, period. I said it. They're not going to get no chip. And I don't want to talk about the NBA yet until this fucking Super Bowl is over. So I'm done with the NBA talk. Lakers are fucking 7-0 on the road right now, crushing shit. LeBron is playing nasty as fuck. It's crazy. When I say nasty, I mean like he's playing good, right? I'm not going to say anything else good about him so you motherfuckers get excited that I'm talking good about LeBron. But the last thing about the NBA, my friend Taylor Rooks, famous sports, would you say commentator, sports? I don't know. She posted an NBA Jam arcade machine. And this was one of my favorite arcade games of all times, next to Galaga and fucking Donkey Kong and Street Fighter and a few other games, Miss Pac-Man. But NBA Jam was something that defined me from 92 to 95. My boy Nick Adler, one of my best friends, he had that game in his house overlooking the Malibu beach. It was just crazy. We played so much. So I DM'd her. I was like, yo, what's up? Where'd you get this? And she's like, man, I got this as a gift from Adidas, but it's called 1UP. And I didn't even know because I couldn't tell. But 1UP is the new arcade machine systems. They're making all your favorite classics and they're putting 3 or 4 games in one, and it's fucking super inexpensive, right? Supreme just did one collaboration with 1UP and they did Mortal Kombat. So I got the Street Fighter one, right? So I was like, oh shit, went to Amazon, immediately seen it, $550, but done. The real machines cost a grip. They're a couple G's for a mint condition. So I was like, fuck this. I'm getting this motherfucker. So that was my only true real birthday present to myself. I know I got a Porsche and RV and whatever else, and fuck, my SF90 is supposed to be here any day now. But I was super hyped to get that thing. So anyways, on to the NFL and on to our NFL picks for this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the episode is brought to you by MyBookie.ag, the only website you should use when placing bets. Make sure you use promo code BENBALLER. All right, guys? Yo, that's it. It's really crunch time right here before we get into the NFC and AFC championships. Wild card weekend fucked me up. But we went 4-2. Don't forget that. We went 4-2. And that Seahawks was a little fucking kind of a little jinx reversal bullshit thing that I did. But anyways, no locks this weekend, guys. No locks, okay? The teams that I like to win, so that means money line, whatever you guys want to bet people straight up, whatever. I don't know how you guys are betting, whether it be Vegas, offshore, I don't give a fuck. The teams I like to win, I think the Packers will beat the Rams. I know they will. This will be a bigger upset to me than the fucking Rams losing to the fucking Jets, okay? I think they're going to smother them. I think they're going to fucking obliterate the fucking Rams, all right? I like the Bills to beat the Ravens. Tell you the truth, man, this is a fucking tough one. I don't know. This is a crazy fucking game with both of them. I think Lamar could go the fuck off. I'm not sure. But, consensus as far as me, Miles, and Jordan go, Bills over the Ravens. Chiefs over the Browns. I don't give a fuck how good Baker's playing, whatever. And I know he got lit the first time they met, blah, blah, whatever. Shut the fuck up. Chiefs are going to beat the Browns, even though I kind of like this little momentum that's going on with them because they were the shitty team for so long. But fuck them. All right. Saints over the Bucks. I actually don't like this, but Miles and Jordan do. I think Tom Brady can pull it off. And I hate Tom. You guys know this. But I rather the Bucks also win because fuck the Saints. But anyways, Drew Brees could be his last fucking game. They keep saying that. I don't know. Firepower, the running game that they got, Kamara's fucking crazy. I don't know, man. I think the Bucks could fight. It's going to be a tough one, all right? But those are the teams I like to win. Now, get your pen out, all right? These are the teams that I like against the spread. Okay, guys? I like the Packers -7 over the Rams all day long. I'm probably going to lay 10, 15,000 minimum on this game. All right. I like the Bills 2.5 over the Ravens. I actually might not bet this game, but boom. Okay. I do like the Browns +10 on the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs go crazy, but this is a different type of Browns thing with the defense and everything. I do like the Browns plus 10. I'm going to lay a couple racks on this. Now, the Bucks plus 3, I love this game, right? People might think different because they think the Saints is whatever. And I know the dude Vegas Dave is like, oh man, the Saints are shut the fuck up. All right. Buccaneers plus 3. Love that bet, guys. Those are my choices, my picks, our picks for the NFL games this weekend. And that is it for the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk with Pomp. Yo, he is I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker looks over hundreds of millions of dollars. So make sure you tune into that motherfucker's podcast. Go to his Twitter. He's really been active and really helpful and just giving great information on how to buy Bitcoin, why you should get it and everything. So again, Pomp, I really do appreciate you jumping on the show. But that is it, guys. 150 episodes. I am fucking geeked. And this all happens because of DBP. And also shout out to my man, Michael Rappaport, for inspiring me to start a podcast. All right. And thank you listening right there. You guys, BTB Army, Behind the Baller Army, we got to do a fucking giveaway. Fuck this shit. You know what? I had no idea about doing. I wasn't even thinking about a fucking giveaway. All right. Fuck it. We're going to give away a gold fridge. I'm not placing it on social media again. Just like I gave away the money when I gave away $300 cash apps for Christmas. I'm going to give away a Ben Baller gold fridge. That's a fucking expensive item right there. And resale is going to be expensive. That is a crazy item. Okay. You need to email the podcast. And I'm not going to tell you what the podcast is because you guys should know what the email is. Email the podcast and tell me what you're going to use it for. The best fucking answer wins the Ben Baller Gold Mini Fridge. All right, guys. I love you guys. Please keep telling people to subscribe. The show is growing. It goes in spurts. It goes crazy. Then it goes slow. But the positive thing is we always grow. All right. Okay, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Remember, I will not be back for the weekend wrap up. We go to episode 151 next Thursday. All right, y'all. I love you guys, man. God bless. Yo, Lakey Lake, you got some new music for me? No? All right, fuck you, man. All right, Lakey, yo, take us to the crib, fam. All right, y'all. Peace.